Let's all say hallelujah. 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 Praise the Almighty Yah. Yah is righteous. Yah is holy. Hallelujah. All right, any questions, comments before we begin? We have not. Let's turn to the book of Job. And we get ready to come to the closing chapters of Job. Anything anybody want to comment on about Job so far or thus far?
I think it'd be a good idea to finish it, kind of get kind of form our opinions. Right now, it seems like we get off the subject. So, if you don't mind, I think it'd be a good idea to finish it. If you don't mind.
All right. So let's we're gonna pick back up and where we leave off at. We started 41 last week. We didn't get all the way through. But I think it'd be good to go back through it from the beginning, and then because going into 42 is basically going to be the conclusion, and then, as the brother said, we can begin to give our thoughts or opinions that we may have on Job then. So let's begin at Job, the 41st chapter and verse 1.
Job 41:1. Canst thou draw out Leviathan with a hook, or his tongue with a cord, which thou lettest down?
And as it goes on, it's you'll see where, as you come into this chapter, you'll see as the Most High continuing to basically challenge Job, or to, establish his power, over Job, basically saying that Job, who are you to question the things that I've done or the things that I do? Because, really, Job, you're nothing, you're just a man. And I'm the correct. I'm the true and living Elohim. So, and everything that happens, happens on my accord, or happens, because of my will. So, in Leviathan, is known, as you read the scriptures, is known as this, we don't know really what it is, but we know it's a large creature. We might call a monster. It's something that you don't want to run across on a daily basis. As a matter of fact, you don't want to run across it ever, because at all, basically, because it's, ain't too much you can do to it. And as we're gonna read, it don't matter how, how sharp your spears are, how many arrows you may have, or whatever the case may be, it still is nothing to Leviathan. It still don't amount to, conquering or subduing Leviathan. So the Creator asks a question here. He says, "Can thou draw out Leviathan with a hook?" Just like you going fishing, and when that fish bites that hook, and you draw it out. And sometimes, and like we said on last week, you make some of the smallest fish get what the biggest fights done. Well, just imagine, this big creature here, getting caught on your hook. For one, is your line going to be strong enough to hold it? And if it does, can you bring him in? Or is he going to bring you in? So, can thou draw out Leviathan with a hook, or his tongue with a cord, which thou hast lettest down? Go ahead.
Canst thou put a hook into his nose, or bore his jaw through with a thorn?
Can you bore? Can you pierce it? Can you pierce his skin with a hook or anything? Go ahead.
Will he make many supplications unto thee? Will he speak soft words unto thee?
Is he gonna come to you, softly? Is he just gonna invite himself to you? I'm just gonna allow myself to catch you. I mean, for you to catch me.
Will he make a covenant with thee without taking him for a servant forever?
Is he gonna be like, a donkey or an ox or anything like that? That's just gonna be a servant unto you. That's gonna serve you a purpose.
Without play with him as a bird, or would I bind him before thy maids?
Are you gonna play with him just like you might play with a bird? Let him play on your finger. Or will you hold him up for for your maidens, for the maidens, for the young ladies?
Maid play with.
Yeah. Catch him as a gift for her. Are you gonna be able to do that?
Shall the companions make a banquet of him? Shall they part among the merchants? Canst thou feel his skin with barbed irons, or his head with fish skins?
So can you feel his skin? Or like I said, when you shoot those harpoons at him, or those spears at him, are they gonna even damage him? Are they gonna even do anything to him?
Like I said, in verse 6, he probably got to catch him, but he can make a banquet.
Exactly.
Verse 8, let thine hand upon him, remember the battle, do no more. Behold, the hope of him is vain, is in vain. Shall not one be cast down even at the sight of him?
Just even thinking about trying to get him or catch him is just, you're just doing it in vain. Because it's not going to happen.
None is so fierce that dare stir him up. Who then is able to stand before him?
So,
Before me?
and it's saying here that, you don't even want to bother him. You don't even want to make him, stir him up in it, bother him at all. Then if you stir him up, are you going to even be able to stand before him?
I ain't gonna lie, saying we're going to be able to stand before him, then you can't handle this. He said, stand before me.
Exactly right. So none is so fierce that dare stir him up. Who then is basically, you're exactly right. If you can't even stir him up, then how are you going to stand against the Creator? I created him. Now I'm the one that that created this creature. I'm the one that gives him commands, and when I give the commands, he follows them. So how are you going to stand before me and question me? Go ahead.
Who hath prevented me that I should repay him? Whatsoever is under the whole heaven is mine.
So everything is his, right? Now the Creator said even if he was hungry, he wouldn't what? He wouldn't tell us. Because what? Everything belonged to him. Well, even the cattle upon 1,000 hills. Go ahead.
I will not conceal his parts, nor his power, nor his comely proportion. Who can discover the face of his garment, or who can come to him with his double bridle? Who can open the doors of his face? His teeth are terrible round about.
You think he's going to put a bit or a bridle in his mouth and control him?
Not even double, right?
Not even a double bridle.
His scales are his pride, shut up together as with a close seal.
I mean, they so tight, ain't nothing getting in. The wind don't even pass through.
One is so near to another that no air can come between them. They are joined one to another. They stick together that they cannot be sundered. By his sneezing is a light doth shine, and his eyes are like the eyelids of the morning. Out of his mouth go burning lamps, and sparks of fire leap out.
So what is this saying here?
He must be a fiery breathing monster.
That's what it's saying. When it said out of his mouth go burning lamps, and sparks of fire leap out.
And let you know the heathens, they had to get a hold of this, because they made all kind of movies,
Dragons and
G.O.D. Zilla and all them. So they had to read this.
and where do you think they dream up stuff like this from? They got imagination now.
Yeah.
But
They read this and then
they add their imagination to it, And here, you would say that, and that's just fictional. Don't nothing breathe fire, this and that and all that. But you read this and it makes you say, huh? Well, maybe I need to change that. This statement. Go ahead.
Verse 20. Out of his nostrils go in smoke, as out of a seasoned pot or cauldron.
So you know where there's fire, there's where smoke. So out of his nostrils, where the smoke it comes out.
His breath kindleth coals, and a flame goeth out of his mouth. In his neck remaineth strength, his sorrow is turned into joy before him. The flakes of his flesh are joined together. They are firm and in themselves. They cannot be moved. His heart is as firm as a stone. Yea, as hard as a piece of the neither millstone. When he raiseth up himself, the mighty are afraid. By reason of breaking, they purify themselves. The sword of him that layeth at him cannot hold. The spear, the dart, nor the habergeon. He esteemeth iron as straw, and brass as rotten wood. The arrow cannot make him flee.
In verse 26 says, "What the sword of him that layeth at him cannot hold. The spear, the dart, nor the habergeon. He esteemeth iron as straw, and brass as rotten wood." So, you know, no matter how strong your iron is, how strong that brass is, it's just like straw, you know, and you snap straw like this. And rotten wood don't hold up nothing, don't hold up against anything.
Pick it up
And it fall to pieces as soon as you pick it, as soon as you attempt to even touch it, it crumbles into pieces. And that's how it says what the spears and the darts are, or even the javelins.
Even if you was able to chunk it hard enough, you'd bust a piece. I don't think you'd be able to chunk it hard enough for it to bust a piece of it.
Yeah.
It just bounce off him anyway.
Just bounce off. But then, like I said, the skin is so strong and so tight that if it, like you said, if it did, it just shatter as soon as it hit. Go ahead.
But the arrow cannot make him flee. Sling stones are turned with him into stubble. Darts are counted as stubble. He laughed at the shaking of a spear.
He's looking at you laughing. Look at this guy. He think he's finna do something with this. Go ahead.
Sharp stones are under him. He spread the sharp pointed things unto the mire. He maketh the deep to boil like a pot. He maketh the sea like a pot of ointment. He maketh a path to shine after him. One would think the deep to be horrible. Upon the earth there is not his like. Who is made without fear? He beholdeth all high things. He is a king over all the children of pride.
It said, what, upon the earth there is none like. I mean, ain't nothing like him on earth, is it? You know? There's nothing like him on earth. And it says what? What else? Who was made without fear, which means he's not afraid of anything. You know, sometimes you got even the mightiest warrior, or the mightiest, you know, animal in the jungle, you know, scared of something, you know. Something, you know, spooks him or makes him afraid. But it said, well, Leviathan, don't nothing scare him. Nothing that,
Verse 34 talking about the Most High, verse 33 in and talk about this, the Bible.
you said 34?
Yeah.
It's talking about the prayer?
I mean, the
Well, I would say, yeah, 34 speaking of,
creation.
mm-hmm. Well, let's see. And would you, and it's just something to consider here. Now, would you even, you know, you really can't compare the creator to anything, but, you know, I think the creator would be kind of, you know, comparing himself, or basically, you know, letting you know that, well, I mean, I guess you see where he's coming from. He's, you know, he's letting you know that, you know, if you can't do this to this beast, you know, this creature, then surely, surely, you know, what am I?
So we know Most High beholds the things that are high, and he is the king over the children of Christ. He want to bring them down.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, yeah, I would say that would be talking about the Creator. And you saying 33 ends? 33.
I was letting go that it end talking about the Leviathan at 33. Upon the earth there is none unlike him who is made without fear. You know,
Mm-hmm.
even that word upon the earth though. So Creator, it's got to be talking about the Leviathan at 33 though. He's made. Nobody made the Most High. That, you know.
I think it's kind of going back and forth a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind
Yeah.
of, that's why I was saying kind of like he stayed here and then the Most High said, you know, he beholds the thing, the high thing, and he's king over all the children of pride. So, but then he could be saying the Leviathan too, but you know, I just asked.
Well, no, it's probably like because you know, it is, you know, like you pointed out a couple verses back. I think it was what,
Yeah,
30.
sometimes the Most High, you know,
Yeah.
assert himself in there too.
Like I guess in verse 10, you were saying that was the Creator, right? No, not verse 10. Well, I guess it was verse 10. Yeah.
Yeah, verse 10 is actually referring to both the creature and the Creator in verse 10.
And one part is the creature, and then you end with talking about the Creator.
It's like Brother said, it's like you were saying, it's basically giving a comparison. And verse 10 is stating, none is so fierce that dare stir him up. They refer to the beast. So then it's asking the question, who then is able to stand before me? So basically the Creator is saying, if the Leviathan is this powerful and this strong, and you dare not stir him up, what you doing even looking in my direction? I'm the one that made the Leviathan. I made him, and if you can't do anything with him, you shouldn't even look in my direction.
Yeah.
Right, so yeah, it's kind of all through the chapter. It's kind of going back and forth between the Creator and this creature that he can or did make.
All right, well, yeah. So he beholdeth all high things. He is a king over all the children of pride. And, you know, even, you know, it just may be even kind of getting back to, well, of course, you know, he's speaking to Job, but, you know, he said, well, he's a king to all the what? Children of what? Pride.
Yes.
So, you know, it also then, you know, if you think about it, you know, and, you know, I guess, you know, some people may say differently, but you kind of think that Job did kind of get, you know, a little prideful, a little haughty. But, you know, Creator was the king of all. Because as you go into the next chapter, you kind of see where, you know, Job, you know. So.
Be humbling himself.
Exactly. Anybody else have any comments on it? 41. Shabbat Shalom. Yeah, well, if not, let's finish up Job 42 and verse 1.
42 and verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Then Job answered Yah and said, I know that thou canst do everything, and that no thought can be withholden from thee. Who is he that hideth counsel without knowledge? Therefore have I uttered that I understood not, things too wonderful for me, which I knew not. Hear, I beseech thee, and I will speak. I will demand of thee, and declare thou unto me. I have heard of thee by the hearings of the ear, but now mine eye seeth thee. Wherefore I abhor myself, and repent in dust and ashes.
So,
And it was
so in verse, so far now we see that with Job is what?
repenting in dust and ashes.
He repented, humbling himself, he's turning, you know, he's, because that's all the Creator, you know, asks us to do. You know, whenever we, you know, commit any iniquity, you know, towards him or anything like that, you know, he just wants us to what? Turn, don't he? You know, and he actually gives us the opportunity to turn. And that just shows you that, you know, his mercy, and just, you know, shows you the Creator that we serve, you know, is merciful. You know, his mercy is long suffering.
It might be why Most High told Satan he can do everything to him but kill him. So Job, when he did, he would have a chance to return or repent.
Exactly, you know. And that's the thing. So the Creator gives you a chance, you know.
Right.
You know, he don't have to, but he does. And that's just, I mean, why would you want to serve anybody else but Yah?
This is basically defining righteousness. Righteousness, as far as humans go, righteousness is not that you will not sin or make a mistake, but after you sin and make a mistake, do you repent and turn away from it?
You turn away from
That's
it.
what Job is doing here, right?
You don't go back to it,
Right.
you know.
So he's proving his righteousness in this verse as well.
Because see, Job still was what considered what perfect, wasn't it? But does being perfect mean you don't sin?
No.
Mean you don't commit iniquities?
No.
But it's just how you conduct yourself once you sin.
Hallelujah.
Once you're aware that you sin.
Okay.
Because, you know, we all sin, and a lot of times, most of our sins, you know, we do presumptuous sins too now. But a lot of our sins are what? Sins of ignorance.
Okay.
You know, especially in this land of captivity where we study, you know, we're trying to return into the Creator. So what? Knowledge can be increased.
Yes.
Because the Creator said, well, knowledge will be increased in the latter days, and it will be, and it is. Every day it's being increased, more and more. But,
The whole time, I didn't even know this.
hallelujah.
Right.
You know, a lot of us was what? Didn't even know. If somebody would have said, yeah, we wouldn't even know what they were talking about. You know, and instead of what we might would have thought if we would have heard the word, yeah. Thought we were talking about what? Is you riding a horse or something?
Yeah.
You know? But, you know, but that's just how, you know, ignorant that we were of this word. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
But through Yah's mercy, you know, and because he loved us, because he had to love everybody in this room and everybody that know the name of Yah. He had to love you. Because well, he let you know. Because we still could be blind, still could be asleep. You know, but we know who we are.
Still be having who is y'all.
And still could be asking who is Yah. So let's all say hallelujah.
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 Yah is righteous.
God is righteous.
Yah is holy.
God is holy.
And we just got to praise the Almighty Yah because, I mean, like I said, where we are today, we don't have to be. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
All right, continue.
And it was so that after Yah had spoken these words unto Job, Yah said to Eliphaz the Temanite, my wrath is kindled against thee and against the two friends, for ye have not spoken of me the thing that is right, as my servant Job has. Therefore, take unto you now 7 bullocks and 7 rams, and go to my servant Job, and offer up for yourselves a burnt offering. And my servant Job shall pray for you. For him will I accept, lest I deal with you after your folly, and that ye have not spoken of me the thing which is right, like my servant Job.
So he's still showing here that what Job is what? Still upright. He's still that perfect man. He's still just because what? He has to what? Make the sacrifice for them, right?
For him.
For their sin.
Right.
Because they what? Didn't speak
Exactly.
the way that Job was spoken.
Right. That's quite a compliment. They had to take their offering to Job for Job to offer it up on their behalf, or the Creator wouldn't accept it.
Hallelujah.
That's quite a compliment of Job.
And you don't want your wrath to be, Creator's wrath to be kindled against you.
Right. Yeah, I would have took the bullocks and the rams and went over to Job's house quicker.
He'll bring you quicker than that little violence.
Right.
Oh yeah.
He's fired hotter than me.
Exactly.
And you might have thought Job went through something, but just imagine if the Creator's wrath against you.
Right.
Even though Satan, the Most High allowed Satan to use these 3 men, he didn't tell Satan to, he didn't tell Job to do anything for Satan. He told him to do for these 3 men.
Right.
Satan is,
It is the name.
uh,
I thought Satan was the name.
I mean, I'm just saying, Satan is done what the Most High created him to do.
Yeah.
He done his job, walking through and go there.
And to be an and to be an adversary.
And I just said that was 82, that was these three men.
And
That is Satan.
Well, yeah, when Satan was working through him.
And they were what adversaries to Job at that time, because they didn't make it better for him, did they? Nah, they made it worse.
They made him say some of the things that he shouldn't have said.
Yeah.
The problem is somewhere being jealous of him and having them thoughts in their mind.
And I want you to hold that thought too now. What you just said, the comment you just made. Well, they made him say some of the things that what he shouldn't have said. All right, go ahead.
Verse 9. So Eliphaz the Temanite, and Bildad the Shuhite, and Zophar the Naamite went and did according as Yah commanded them. Yah also accepted Job. And Yah turned the captivity of Job when he prayed for his friends. Also Yah gave Job twice as much as he had before.
So not only was Job making this sacrifice and making the offer was a blessing to those men, but what? It was a blessing to him as well, wasn't it? Because see, Yah, it said, what? Yah turned. It said, Yah, if you read verse 9 again, it says, so Eliphaz the Temanite and Bildad the Shuhite and Zophar the Naamite went and did according to Yah, as Yah commanded them. And Yah also accepted what? Job. And Yah turned the captivity of Job when he prayed for his friends. Also Yah gave Job twice as much as he had before. You know, you look at it where Job lost this and Job lost that. But his latter was what? Better than his beginning, wasn't it?
Right, restoration. MOREH, it's the same restoration you can read in Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 3. It's the same restoration that the Creator promised to us as a nation as a whole. That's the same restoration that he promised being restored to Job as an individual. Is also promised to us as a whole, as a nation. The same restoration here.
And let's read that.
Okay. Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 3. That then Yah, that Elohim, will turn the captivity. Wait, let me read verse 2. Verse 2, to put into perspective, please. Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 2. And so, let's start with 1.
Yeah, start at 1.
Cain. Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessings and the curse, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whither Yah thy El has driven thee, and shall return, there's the repenting part, until Yah thy Elohim, and shall obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thy heart and with all thy soul, that then Yah thy El will return the captivity, and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations, whether Yah thy Elohim has scattered thee. So that's basically the same redemption that Job is experiencing after he humbled himself and repented.
And everything was you're gonna return everything back to you, right?
Cain, to be returned to you.
And the best part of that is what we return into what? Our own home, our own land. Not in the land of the stranger, or the heathen, the oppressor.
I thought it was he said also, it might not be in the chapter. Well, I just, read them as you what about reading verse 8 and 9?
Verse 8 and 9?
30.
Yeah.
Back in Deuteronomy chapter 30?
Yeah.
Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 8 and 9?
Yeah.
Chapter 30, verse 8. And thou shalt return and obey the voice of Yah, and do all his commandments which I command thee this day. And Yah thy El will make thee plenteous in every work of thy hand, and in the fruit of thy body, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy land, for good. For Yah will again rejoice over thee for good, as he rejoiced over thy fathers. That's powerful there too, though. That's powerful there too. All that you put your hand to do, you're going to bless.
I don't know that. He also said that that's as good as I think the same way he's going to do better to us in some script. I don't know where that is.
Oh, that's right. I do remember that. is it, Jeremiah?
You see the Jeremiah, I got a cross reference to Jeremiah 32.
Jeremiah 32? I think it is Jeremiah.
32 and 41.
I'm drawing a blank. I think it might be Jeremiah. But I do remember reading that verse. It said 32 and 41?
Yeah, it's just saying, it's most saying.
Just cross-referencing.
Most saying, yea, I will rejoice over them to do them good, and I will plant them in the land as surely as my whole heart and with my whole soul. Well, it's another, well, you know, I don't know where it is, I can't think of it.
But that's another one say we're going to prosper beyond what our ancestors saw, what our fathers saw, what our forefathers saw. I just can't remember where it is now, but there is a verse that states that, and I want to say it's still in Jeremiah somewhere, Jeremiah or Isaiah. Those are two books where it speaks about returning from the second Babylon. And I think in one of those books, it does mention that. If I remember correctly, it's in one of the chapters that mentioned how those that once persecuted us going to bring us back, and how their daughters going to be our milkmaids and our servants. I think it's in one of those books. I think it's in that area of the scripture. Dyslexia kicking in. I can't remember the verse in the scripture, but I do remember reading that.
All right, anybody else?
And when you're looking at Job, that verse 9 through 10, it's also given another powerful lesson. It's a lesson of forgiveness here. Not only did the Creator forgive and restore, but Job had to have a forgiveness heart, a forgiveness spirit, in order to accept those friends to come back to him with those offerings. You know, normally, like I was saying before, this is also practical. We miss half of what the blessing is offering us if we don't look at the practical side. We don't look at the spiritual side. The practical side, there are a lot of times here under this roof, our brother or sister. Now, and I'm not saying the offense didn't exist. I'm not saying the offense didn't take place. But here under this roof, I have witnessed where a brother or sister may have offended someone. And I'm not saying the offense is not real. I'm not saying the offense did not cause insult or pain. Yes, it did. But what we don't realize is that we have this mentality that forgiveness is going to help the person that wronged me. Therefore, I'm not going to forgive them because they wronged me. But forgiveness is not just for the person that wronged you. Forgiveness will heal you, because it takes a lot of energy, a lot of negative energy to carry a grudge against someone that wronged you. All of that energy could be focused on healing yourself, could be focused on making you more successful, could be focused on you being able to clearly meditate on the word and get more blessings from it, more physical as well as spiritual blessings. One of the reasons you're missing that, because you carry all that anger in your spirit. And that anger is going to manifest itself somewhere. It's going to come out. You're not going to be able to just hide it completely. It's going to show. You may not even recognize that your tone of voice may be incorrect, but you carry a grudge. You're angry against somebody else. And here's a person standing before you that can offer you a blessing, but your tone of voice and your attitude turn that person off. And you're not angry at the person that's trying to bless you. You're angry at somebody else. Right, so for that forgiveness is going to restore you. Here's Job forgiving his friends that spoke against him when he was down. He was down and they basically were kicking him in the teeth while he was down. Instead of trying to uplift him and bring him some words of encouragement, don't give up, Job, the Creator is with you. But they came and was kicking him in his teeth while he was down, plucking at him while he was down. And he still accepted, took their offering, gave it to the Creator, and so there had to be some forgiveness in his heart for what those friends did to him when he was down. And not only were the friends restored, but Job himself was restored.
And you don't think that the friends were Satan himself, and then Satan would repent of what he had thought of his service together?
Yes, yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I can see that as well. Yes, you know.
Because when the Most High left out, after this, he ain't mentioned Satan no more, so
Right.
I said they hit him and
Right.
Satan himself.
Right. Forgiveness is powerful for the victim and the adversary.
Satan had to be taught lesson too.
A lesson as well. Right. That spirit of the adversary was removed from those friends.
All right, anybody else? Let us continue.
Where were we, Moreh? Verse 11?
Mm-hmm.
Job 42, verse 11. Then came there unto him all his brethren, and all his sisters, and all they that had been of his acquaintance before, and did eat bread with him in his house. And they bemoaned him, and comforted him over all the evil that Yah had brought upon him. Every man also gave him a piece of money, and every one an earring of gold.
All right, verse 11. What's some of the things that may stick out, or that sticks out to y'all?
They comforted him. To me, they comforted him, which was something they should have done in the beginning. They also done for him. Like they used to do in the days of old. I know my grandma was living. When my dad got sick, went to he couldn't work or anything like that. She would cook a meal and bring it to him to help out and everything. So when somebody down, you're supposed to help them versus bring them down lower than what they already are.
And then with my sister congregation, in her congregation, they brought food to our house to eat.
Okay. What you should do.
And my mom,
Okay.
Which they got here to me, Joe, we had sisters and brothers.
But what?
But the thing they came out this time, he was back on his feet.
they came,
We ain't heard nothing about them, still, man. I mean, that's what stick out, that's what stick out.
No, I'm just asking.
Huh?
I'm just asking, just getting
What's that to me?
y'all thoughts. But I guess we like father, like son. I was thinking the same thing. Where were they? When he was going through all that. But continue. Continue.
Okay, I see. It's restoring what was lost in chapter 19, verse 13. They return it to him now. Okay. What was it, verse 12?
Verse 12, yeah.
You concentrating on 42 and 11, that's what stick out to us.
Oh, what stuck out to me was look who placed the evil upon Job.
In 42?
And 42 and 11, yes sir.
So-
Y'all had brought the evil y'all had brought upon him.
So it wasn't a separate entity,
Right.
besides the creator. It was the creator.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're talking about now, yeah, that. And they comfort him over all the evil that y'all had brought on him. We know this. We know that's where evil come from. We don't come on him. Evil can't be in the city, that's the most high to put him.
Right.
It wasn't the devil or nothing like that.
Huh?
It wasn't the devil or nothing like that. It was or a separate entity that brought all this on Job. It was the creator.
He let Satan did, which is an instrument. Like I said, Satan created for a certain time. He had to go through it for a figure out who he is. And bring misery on him.
I think Satan and Job got a lesson out of it.
You're correct.
Well, yeah, Satan probably got a lesson because Satan said he'd cuss you. If you take away what he got, he'd curse you. I don't see why Job ever cursed him all the time.
He did. He passed the test.
He spoke out of turn.
And I've seen in several places of scripture, I also see that a little bit in the book of Job as well, where people have a certain spirit, they exhibit a certain spirit. You can see people have the spirit of a fool. You see the people have the spirit of evilness, the spirit of lying. And in this case, it was the spirit of the adversary. His friends were adversaries to him in his time of need. And so you're correct. Even Satan, the spirit of, or the adversary, as it's defined, even the adversary, those friends that had that spirit, they received a lesson for this as well. And his brothers and sisters who were far from him, they were removed. When they saw he was suffering, they abandoned him. They moved far from him. So and now here they are gathering back. So even they, as you all are stating, even they got a lesson from this.
Instead of being there for him, they let him go too. They left him alone too.
Right, they left him alone as well. If you look at Job chapter 19, verse 13, his brothers and sisters and friends, they abandoned him during this time of need.
All right.
They weren't there. what they were rainy weather friends?
Well, then again, like,
Or fair weather friends?
I mean, there ain't no excuse, but when his friends seen Joe when he was sitting down in the last boy, they looked up their boys away.
Yeah.
It was hard to,
Yeah.
it was hard to come around.
Right.
Imagine, most of, it's kinda hard to be around a person when they going through what Joe.
Yes.
I'm not making no excuse for
Ain't
him, I'm just
nothing
saying.
you can do with that pig, it just take a strong person to stay around something like this.
Right. Right. Because you're feeling that pain as well.
They probably feel like he was dying,
Yes. Exactly.
but they did come.
They were mourning their friend because, like you said, they thought he was on his deathbed, seeing how bad he was.
All right, anybody else? All right, continue.
Verse 12. Job chapter 42, verse 12. So y'all bless the latter end of Job more than his beginning, for he had 14,000 sheep and 6,000 camels and 1,000 yoke of oxen and 1,000 she asses. He also.
So what Job had, what happened from what he had in the beginning? What happened at the latter?
He doubled.
Yeah, he doubled.
It doubled.
Exactly, he's doubled. And it's written, the Creator is the one that bless you to make gives you the strength to make you well.
Joe weathered the storm and he got blessed.
Yeah, sometimes, like I say, it's you have to, stand that test, or be able to pass the test that the Creator put before you. And when you do pass, and when you do show that you are for Him and you are serving Him in sincerity and in truth, He'll bless you even more than you've been blessed. All right, continue.
Okay. Verse 13. He had also 7 sons and 3 daughters, and he called the name of the first Jemima, and the name of the second Keziah, and the name of the third Kir-ihappunch.
So
that means Kir-in-happunch. Jemima. No, Yamima would be the name of the first one. Cain.
Yamima.
Yamima. Yeah, right, Yamima. And in all the land were no women found so fair as the daughters of Job, and their father gave them inheritance among their brothers. And this lived Job 140 years, and saw his sons and his sons' sons, even 4 generations.
now, how many of y'all think that now this really is a blessing here?
Right.
He got his camel, he got his cattle, his things like his possessions back double. But to live to see your children's children, four generations of your children
Right.
is to me the real blessing.
It is.
You know,
It is.
no,
Great.
and you seeing not only your sons or your children's children, but their children and then their children.
And their children.
You know.
Right. Right. To be able to see some of the same characteristics and the same spirit in those great-grandbabies, great-great-grandbabies, yeah, that's a blessing. That would be a blessing. So Job died being old and full of days.
And and again, that's just that's a beautiful blessing there, because you died, you was old, and you was full of your days. You lived a long time.
Yes.
You got to be able to enjoy life, enjoy the goodness of Yah, for a long time.
Exactly. And verse 15 reads, in all the land were no women found so fair as the daughters of Job. And if my memory serves me right, the word Yamima means beautiful. It derives from the
Beautiful as a day.
beautiful as a day. It means beautiful. It does. Well, one is lovely, one is beautiful. If I remember correct, one is lovely to behold, and one is beautiful as the day. But basically, synonyms. And it's the equivalent of the Old English word Betty, which is an Old English or Old Welsh word for beautiful, for pretty. Pretty, that's what it means. Betty means Betty and pretty, are synonymous.
any comments on not just this chapter, but even, you know, the book of Job? Now we're quiet, we don't have no comments on Job.
I think it's a good lesson for us. You're into the end. You know, it ain't just about the blessing, it's just about the winning favor of the Most High. He found favor in the Most High, even though he had defense. The Most High gave him the option. He gave him was merciful to him to allow him to repent to repent. And I just think, you know, I just think that's a good lesson to endure to the end, even though you may go through some things. You may want to give up, and you know, this is a good testimony to not give up. Continue to lean on the Most High.
We always got to keep the Creator, you know, the Creator. Yah is our hope, you know. He's our strength, you know. We're supposed to trust in man. I mean, not trust in man, but trust in Yah, and not, you know, flesh. We should make flesh what our strength should. But we should keep our hope in Yah. No matter what you go through, you know, how bad you might think it is, whatever the case may be, you still got to keep your trust in the Creator. And just believe, or just know that, you know, He's going to bring you through. And He's going to make, you know, everything, put everything in order or the way that it should be. What else?
I'm looking at Job chapter 19, verse 13. So look at I was looking at the he that he's speaking of, that put his brethren far from him, and his acquaintance are very estranged from me. So is that tied into the evil that the Creator brought upon him? It uses the pronoun he.
Well, yeah, you got to look at it too. You know, this was part of his affliction. You know, part of basically his affliction that, you know, when you don't really have, sometimes, you know, when you by yourself or when nobody wants to be amongst you or around you, you know, it make, you know, whatever you're going through even harder. You know, sometimes people can come, and sometimes now, in certain cases, when you're down, when people come, you know, and visit you, or when they come and, you know, like I said, it might bring some food, whatever it may be, it makes you feel better. It makes you feel love, but when they, you know, don't even show a concern, then, you know, it's,
Out of sight, forgotten.
they just, I mean, sometimes, you know, it makes you feel even more worse than you already feel.
As in that same chapter, chapter 19, verse 6, you see Job speaking to his friends, to his companions, if I remember correctly. And Job is saying, know now that Yah has overthrown me and has compassed me with his men. So I'm referring to, that's probably the same he that he's speaking of in the next 7, 8 verses. He starts each one off with he has fenced up my way.
And then,
I think you're talking about it all the time.
but then look at verse 7 though. Look at
Behold, I cry out of wrong, but I am not heard. I cry aloud, but there is no judgment.
see what Job felt like, you know, that he was being wrong then.
It's the only thing that we talking about Job was speaking wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look at verse 11, he has also kindled his wrath against me. He's overthrown. He has counted me unto as one of his enemies.
Yeah.
Right? But in spite of all of that, he didn't forsake the Most High, what the whole story is basically saying. But he has an understanding that is there any, that understanding, is there any evil in the city that the Creator did not put there? So he's giving the credit to the Creator for bringing the evil upon him.
And he thinking that through all this, that the Most High have, forgotten him.
That's forgotten him.
But, that's why I think the Most High came on Job like he did, was, sound stuff like this,
Yep.
that he was speaking.
So you should have known better.
Yeah, he was, well, what Job said, he spoke without knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, and we'll have to consider too, that as we read, towards the latter end, of the book of Job, that, of course, we've seen where Job was, well, I've done this, or I did that or whatever, and basically he's saying, well, he didn't deserve that because he did these things, right? But sometimes, who are you to say? What makes you the judge to say that you don't deserve this or that you don't deserve that?
Really say he didn't deserve it.
That's what I get out of it. That's what I see when I read it. That, he felt like that he didn't deserve the punishment that he was getting.
And do you think he really deserved the punishment he was given, or he was just proving up something to say?
Well, I'm the Creator gave it to him. The
You know
Creator,
what I'm saying? Do you think that
I do.
that Job really deserved what he? Sometimes Most High brings something up on you, it ain't that you deserve it. He do the proof upon.
I can agree with that as well.
Yeah, he did prove point to Satan. That was the whole thing about
To
it. But
Satan,
Job,
not Job. To Satan.
prove point.
But Job wasn't sinless though.
I mean, no man not sinless. The book said that ain't no man without sin. But the way I see Job did, he assured all evil. He had to pray the Most High. He had to sacrifice and ask forgiveness as he went. But with him, as though his children, he did.
Right.
And I'm sure he wasn't sacrificing and asking forgiveness for his children and not him. I'm just thinking this is something that he was proving to Satan that I don't care what you do to him, he would not deny me.
Right. And he did, and Job passed that test. He was made all that.
He said, they didn't speak of me like my servant Job. Job never put the Most High down. He started the life, more beating up on himself to me than it was the Most High. And Most High saying, you don't know me. I mean, that's my understanding.
Right, because I was reading it, you'll see other verses of scriptures like when Naomi returned from the land, not Naomi, it was Naomi that returned from the land of Moab. She said, the Creator is against me. Right, she confessed that the Creator was against her for bringing that famine upon the land of the Moabites where her and her family was living. And she lost all the males in her family.
But he wasn't against her.
Right, he restored.
Blessed her in the matter.
Right, he restored. Right, the Creator's against her.
Famine was in our land, the Moabite. That's when they left our land, because Moabite don't have something eating their land, so the famine was in Judah. I'm just, what I'm saying.
Well, the
Moabite had something to eat, but now what happened with her was she lost her sons and her husband in the land of Moabite.
And then she returned back home.
Back home, because she heard it was food. And when she got back there, it was food, because she had some, Ruth had somewhere to go clean.
Right, the two lands so close together, if it was a drought in that area, it's possible that the drought affected both. Because I've always wondered how did Boaz have so much grain. And what I was thinking is, depending on where Boaz's land was located, some of our ancestors were able to irrigate if they were close enough to the Jordan River. I'm thinking maybe that was the case with Boaz. He had irrigation. The people that didn't have irrigation were suffering the famine.
I think that's what it was, because it said, she heard that the Most High had, in other words, blessed the land of Judah, and the famine was gone. Because when they left, that's when they left, because it was a famine there. And so when she came back, in other words, the Most High started back blessing the land.
And then all her kinsmen were dead and gone. I thought that why she went back home.
Yeah, her husband was dead and gone, but the word says she heard that the Most High.
We need to go back there.
Hey, that's like good Bible study to get started. That's like good Bible study to get started.
Yeah, we don't got a hard time, but.
All right, so what else can we take out of Job?
I mean, as far as me, I mean, I still stand on my position because, like I think it says in Isaiah, it says, woe to him that strive against his maker. And to me, Job strove against the Most High in some of the things that he was saying. And with everything, there's the opposite of that the Most High created. And you can only humble yourself. I agree with you. And you can only humble yourself if you are prideful. That's the opposite of it. And I think because how Job was, or what the Most High said about Job in the beginning, that he was perfect and stuff like that, is why we have a hard time understanding the fault, or don't see no fault in Job, or that he strove against the Most High, picking himself up against the Most High with some of the things that he was saying. And that's why he said he didn't have no knowledge, because he was speaking things that was out of turn against the Most High. And not only, to me, not only did the Most High had proved that to Satan, or the things of which he spoke, he had to prove himself to Job. And after he got on Job, because I think he got on Job, not just was teaching Job, he got on Job to let Job know, you're here, I'm over here, and I can understand when we do speak our turn, when we go through things, when we're suffering, we do say things and think things, or think that the Most High has wrong with us, or whatever. But he's righteous and he's just. He never does anything wrong. And I never read where he said that he don't, or we don't deserve the things that we go through. He said, I read where he said that, he done punished us less than what our sins deserve. Now, I read that. So, like I said, that's still my opposition on it, whether I'm right or wrong, but that's just how I see it when I read and study through it, whatever. That, he got out of his place and think that the Most High was wrong, and the Most High put him back in his place. And I think that's why the Most High accepted him at the end of when he did, because Job did humble himself. He saw that he was wrong, as probably the other three did. And so that's why Job had to pray for them. And I think when he spoke in that last chapter of saying, you spoke that was right, I think that was like verse 1 through 6 in chapter 42, or where he had humbled himself and started speaking right against the Most High. Because, when we humble ourselves, the Most High hears us, and he'll forgive us.
All right.
Well, I'd like to read this verse in Luke, that I just went talking. It's Luke 1 and 6.
Yes, sir.
Then she rose up with her daughters-in-law, that she might return from the country of Moab, for she had heard in the country of Moab how Yah has visited his people and given them bread.
So the famine had ended in Israel.
Yeah.
And they were returning home because the famine had ended.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying, Elton. I see what
But
you're
they
saying.
left because of the famine.
Because of the
You
famine.
read verse 1 and show you that.
They left, yeah. I was only focused on it was a famine in all the land. But that was the famine ending in Israel. So some rain started falling, rain. So they returning.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Because they were during the time of Judges, the Judges was throwing
Was right.
what they thought was right.
Right.
And when most meaning done the most I said, he might have famine on.
All right. Go back to Job. Let's finish up Job.
Oh, okay.
Good one, Elton.
Let's finish up Job, and let's we take a couple more comments, and we're gonna have to close, or I guess oppositions on Job.
My last comment is that I think Job, after all that, he still stood the test.
Anybody else?
Yeah, that's what I look at as well. what lesson can we get out of it today? You know, because in Job chapter 1, it describes Job as a perfect and upright man. And that doesn't mean, because there's two types of perfection. There's celestial perfection, which only the Creator can achieve, and there's terrestrial perfection on earth, which we are allowed to receive, to achieve. And Job had terrestrial perfection. And when he made a mistake, he repented and turned from it.
Yeah, I also like to add to that, where the Most High comes to you and correct you, or he sends somebody to correct you.
Yes, sir.
If you done wrong, you need to humble yourself.
Correct. Oh, yes.
Hallelujah.
I think Elihu is the one that helped him realize he was speaking out of tongue, because Elihu came and spoke of the Most High. And then it helped Job too to see when the Most High got on him. Then he know he couldn't come against the Most High. And he didn't even attempt to do it. He just put his hands over his mouth. And I told the Most High what I have spoken. Vow.
Anybody else?
When you look at that scripture, I think it may be in Leviticus, maybe 20 chapter, something like that. You know, when the Most High says, you know, like when we go to captivity and accept of our punishment, you know, do you think that at first he was, and then as time went on, you know, and with some of the things, you know, that they were saying against him, you know, and stuff like that, was maybe not accepting of it at that time when he was going through.
Say it again.
I'm asking, do it seem like at first, you know, when he first started going through it, like he was more accepting of what he was going through than later on after, you know, those conversations?
Yeah.
It seemed like he was less accepting of what the Most High, you know, was putting him through.
Yeah, you definitely can say that towards the beginning, even with this statement here in verse Job 1 and 21. And it says, he said, naked come, and you know, this is after everything has happened, you know. After everything he done went through, you know, he still what he said and said, this is Job speaking, naked came out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. But Yah gave, and Yah had taken away. Blessed is the name of Yah. You know, he's accepting. You know, this is just what the Creator does. You know, this is well, I ain't say he's ready.
Here come your friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so I agree with you on that. He was more accepting of the punishment before, and then as you continue to read, it kind of seemed like he was like, well, no, I don't think I deserve this. You know.
But your friend tells you think you're righteous,
But you're not.
but you ain't. So you got to be done something.
Yeah.
But this is happening. And then he started depending, so then he went over top.
Yes.
But in the book of Job, I mean, it's several things, points that you can take, but you know, and it's several views that you can look at it. You know, ways you can look at it. You know, you can even look at it as Job as being, because one of the ways I look at Job is showing you that you just need to, no matter what you go through, that you need to stay with the Creator. You need to stand with the Creator, no matter what you go through. Because when you stay with the Creator, you know, your latter end will be blessed. But if you give up and turn, no matter what you're going through, then you know there's no chance for you to see the blessing of the Creator if you don't give Him a chance. You know, it don't matter what you may be going through. You got to still stay with the Creator.
Get no redemption.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of things, like I said, even more things that we can consider on that. But I guess that's something that,
See that all through the scripture with Moses.
yeah.
When he didn't do what the Most High say do, it ain't like he didn't put trust in the Most High. Israel just made him hot. His friend just made him hot.
So, Um,
And when you let people make it hot, you get it.
Your mouth ran off a little bit.
Yeah,
A lot.
a lot. Thank you, Iman. A lot.
and like I said, we may, we out, actually over, where we need to be at, but we may, next week, if y'all want to talk some more on it, on Job, and give some more, views on Job, we can. We're going into the book of Psalms. Got a quick question though. I know how I feel about it, but actually, the class, do we want to go through Psalms, or we want to go, somewhere else, or what do we want to do?
Come on, like, stay in Job.
No, we ain't going. No, Psalms is the next book. We're going through. We want to read through Psalms, study Psalms, or do we
I
want?
think we should. Cause Psalm and Job is
Well, I think we understood the Psalm of y'all, whatever y'all decide. We ain't gonna never get over the prophets.
Majorities, rules. That's what it is.
But my money, Psalm and Job really help us personally to make.
I mean, whatever y'all want to do is fine with me.
Hmm.
Well, I ain't doing that.
Hallelujah.
Well, I agree too, because every word of Yah is pure.
Yeah.
So,
Good answer.
yeah, some folks ready close to the end, so we go ahead and begin.
Yeah, I love
Let's all say hallelujah.
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 Praise the Almighty Yah.
Praise the Almighty Yah.
Yah is righteous.
God is right.
Yah is holy.
God is holy.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Almighty Yah, we just thank and we praise you, Almighty Yah, for your words, Almighty Yah. We ask you to continue to just enlighten us with your words, Almighty Yah. Continue to just bless us with your wisdom, Almighty Yah. Almighty Yah. Give us understanding of Almighty Yah, of you, Almighty Yah, that we may do right in your sight. That we may walk according to your will, Almighty Yah, and that we may just live righteously, and that we may continue to, that we may receive the blessings that you have to bestow upon us, Almighty Yah. Bless us, Almighty Yah, that we may receive your blessings, Almighty Yah. That we may do what's right, Almighty Yah, that we may to receive your blessings, Almighty Yah.
Hallelujah.
Continue to just watch over us as a congregation, as a people, Almighty Yah. Continue to bless us, continue to just keep us, Almighty Yah. We just thank and we praise you for all things, and we lift up our voices by saying hallelujah.
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 Praise the Almighty Yah.
Praise the Almighty Yah.
Yah is righteous.
God is right.
Yah is holy.
God is holy.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Just so glad to be here today in the land of the living. Thanking the Almighty Yah for all you've done for all of us. We certainly appreciate you, Yah, for all you do. We love your laws, your statutes,